My boss Greg is a repeat offender with messy cables both in the office and at home. He finally has cleaned up his home office, but the desk at work is still suffering. So I took it upon myself to fix my boss's cable management. Let's start with the obvious issues. There's a rat's nest of cables hanging under the desk. I can already see a few that aren't even connected to anything. I was also tipped off by Greg that there's an entire desktop computer attached to the bottom of the desk that he never uses, so that would explain some of the random hanging cables. There's also a couple additional challenges with this setup. With it being an L-shaped desk, the cables need to be routed from 2 horizontal directions. It also is a standing desk, so the wire management needs to accommodate for the vertical movement. Finally, I wanted to come up with a few surprises for Greg. I needed to make sure he'd be excited by my taking initiative to clean up his desk, rather than be offended that I was just judging his setup. To start off, I needed to get everything unplugged so I could see where things would need to be routed. Right away, I found that the control switch on his desk didn't work. Greg uses his phone to operate the desk, but for me to raise the desk, I needed the correct switch. Now that I could get under the desk, it was easy for me to start tearing everything apart. This is where I was really able to find out how much on the desk wasn't even being used. I started up a graveyard pile in the corner of the office. I wouldn't have guessed how much stuff I would end up adding to the pile. It didn't take me long to see the unused desktop hanging underneath the desk, so I added that to the graveyard as well. I also noticed there was an additional monitor arm post, so I removed the extra post and rearranged the monitors to fit on one. With everything extra cleared out and the cables detached, it was time to make a plan, and part of that plan was making his setup more flexible. Greg often takes his laptop out of the office to work, and it's a pain to have to go under the desk to grab the charging cord. To solve this problem, I added a CalDigit hub to his setup. The hub will not only act as a charger, but it will also allow only one cable to be connected to his laptop. Knowing where the hub would be placed, it was just a matter of planning how to get all the display cables and any other accessory cables routed back to the hub. It was easy to pass the monitor cables through the arms and direct them back to the dock. Fortunately, they were all long enough to reach where the dock was located. All of the cables wouldn't fit into one power strip, so it made the most sense to have a large power strip for both the main desk and for the return. Greg's New Heights XT desk has built-in wire management trays. This eliminated the need for me to attach any additional cable trays or other large cable management products. One other surprise I wanted to add to the setup was a monitor light bar. Greg loves using a light bar at home, and I knew it would be great to have here at the office, especially for long-hour days when the room starts to get a little dark. We've been testing the BenQ Halo in the office, and I knew this would be the right choice for him. The Halo features a small adjustment puck, so you don't have to reach up to the monitor to make any adjustments. The light bar is powered by a standard USB plug, and since Greg's monitors didn't have a USB input, I ran this cable down to his power strip. Once the cables were routed where they needed to be, it was time to clean up any of those loose cables and get them tight against the desk. I purchased a few cable management products to help me out with this project. The monitor arms, and even desk in this case, had built-in cable management, but there's always that length of cable running to and from these products that needs managing. I've used this $16 set from Amazon on several of the desk setups I've done, and I feel it's a great value for the money. To cover up the vertical cables behind the monitor, I like to use a cable management sleeve that comes with this set. Once the sleeve is in place, I used a clip to hold the sleeve in place. It gives a nice finished look, making the 4 to 5 cables look like one solid unit. Knowing that Greg often stands at his desk and also has visitors in his office, I wanted the setup to look good from all angles. The clips and Velcro ties in this set help me clean up everything under the desk. I strapped down the cables for the desk controls, monitor cables, and everything else that was loose. There are some wires that can't fully be tightened down, like those coming from his phone, so I did my best to tuck them into a wire tray while keeping them loose enough to be usable. For the vertical cables coming down from the desk, I used an Alex Tech braided sleeve. These sleeves serve the purpose of looking sleeker while keeping the cables bundled together while the desk moves vertically. If you choose to use a sleeve like this, make sure to purchase one thick enough so that all your cables will fit inside of it. Once the cables are wrapped into the sleeve, I like to use a couple Velcro ties to hold the sleeve shut. Final addition I added to the desk were some Shinjimoru magnetic cable holders that I found on Amazon. These are great for keeping often used cables like a phone charger easily within reach. With everything reconnected and the cables all cleaned up, it was time to test out the setup. The light bar was an excellent addition as the Halo covers a large surface area. and the new CalDigit dock will make it much easier to take his laptop on the go. The final product is a well-managed yet still flexible setup. For more tips on how to cable manage your desk, check out this next video.